Hey everybody, this is Jay, and the vehicle you are looking at is the 2016 Infiniti QX80. Now, if you think this is a very big SUV, you are absolutely correct, and I love it. I think this is one of the coolest SUVs on the market that not enough people really appreciate. For starters, it competes against the Toyota Land Cruiser, its luxury version, the Lexus LX, Range Rovers, the Lincoln Navigator, and the Cadillac Escalade, of course. But what's really special about the Infiniti QX80 is that it's based on a vehicle called the Nissan Patrol, which is not sold in the United States. That vehicle, the Patrol, is actually one of the biggest competitors to the Toyota Land Cruiser throughout the world, but for the first time, the United States gets a version of the Nissan Patrol in the form of an Infiniti. Now, everything about the QX80 is extreme from the interior, as you can see. It is full out luxury. Every little bit, there's so much attention to detail. The leather here that you can see, it's like what they describe as brown truffle. And at first, I really wasn't so sure if I liked it, but I really think it's beautiful. Now, what you just heard was the engine. It is a 5.6 liter naturally aspirated V8. It has a total of 400 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. That's very powerful, especially for a vehicle of this size. It weighs nearly 3 tons, but it can also tow up to 8,500 pounds, which is a pretty decent-sized speedboat, and that's something that people who buy the QX80 are going to want to be able to do. Now, if you're wondering if you haven't heard of the name QX80 before, you may not be the only one. It used to be called the Infiniti QX56. 5.6 stands for, obviously, 5.6 liters, but back in 2014, the last time it was refreshed, Infiniti changed the name to QX80. Same thing. The original Infiniti 5.6 came out back in 2004, but back then it was based on the Nissan Armada, which is still on sale today, I believe, and it was essentially just a rebadged version, a lot more expensive and more luxurious of the Armada. But Infiniti wanted something different, and that's why they were able to get the Patrol. It is undoubtedly one of the best off-road SUVs in the world. But Infiniti did something kind of interesting here for the US market version, the QX80. As you can see, the ride height is not especially high. You have these running boards here, which obviously you're going to want to improve your step-in height, but there's not enough ground clearance for some serious off-roading. But I really don't think people who are going to buy the QX80 are going to be able, or really going to want to go off-roading. Even though you have these massive 22-inch wheels, it really helps with the stance. They're all-season tires. The QX80 comes standard with rear-wheel drive, but the limited version that you see here has all-wheel drive. So if you need to go off-road, yes, I would just try to avoid any serious rocks and boulders in this case. But the QX80, I think the people who are going to want to buy this car are celebrities who want to be driven, other VIPs, top-level executives. They want to be chauffeured around in something big and kind of like almost tank-like. And the QX80 does the job very well. What I really like about this V8 engine here is that it's kind of a dying breed. The other vehicles, such as the Ford Expedition, they now come with a twin-turbo 3.5 liter V6 as part of Ford's EcoBoost lineup. It delivers similar power, but Infiniti, along with Cadillac and Toyota, obviously, they're sticking with these naturally aspirated V8s. And only a few years ago, I was also of the belief, pretty much everyone else was too, that these V8s wouldn't be around any longer because of high gas prices, but now gas is at an all-time low, and big SUV sales are back up again. As I was saying before, I think this interior is one of the best kept secrets out there. I do really love that brown truffle leather. You have this really nice diamond color, pattern there, but I don't know if you can see it very well here. You have this really nice silver stitching in the leather. It's just this really nice touch. And all that wood you see, that is real ash wood. You have it along the door panels there. Everything is just of premium quality. This is a full-blown luxury machine. It's literally a raised limo, if you will. I think that's a very good comparison. Now, a few other interior details that you're going to want to know. It's heated and cooled leather seating on the front seats. Even the second row seats here, they're heated as well. They have the same sort of like quilted pattern there. I think it's just really pretty. It's just, they're like literally captain's chairs. And it just proves that, backseat passengers get all the creature comforts. They even have 7-inch monitors in the front seat headrests there to look at. The third row, you can get 3 people back there. As you can see, there are cup holders as well. And I found it to be fairly comfortable back there. I'm of average height, and third row was just fine. And there's a fairly large infotainment screen there. You also have a 13 speaker audio system, 10-way power driver seat with even 2-way lumbar support. It's just a wonderful package. Infiniti is really out to get the likes, I think, of the Cadillac Escalade. That's probably the QX80's most significant competition. That's also a very expensive vehicle. But the Infiniti, it's just something a little different. You don't see quite as many of them as the Escalade, and the Escalade, I know it has something of a bling attitude going. I know that's the kind of the reputation it's got, as opposed to the QX80, where it's more refined. It's most kind of like a Zen-like driving experience. Everything is very quiet inside. The sound deadening materials are top notch. You really can't hear anything going on outside. It drives beautifully, not at all bumpy at all, but it has those off-road capabilities when you need them. And a few people were talking to me about the exterior styling. I mean, I could see how it can be a little controversial, especially that front end, but I happen to really like it. It's distinctive, and it's just in-your-face luxury. As you can see in the back, plenty of places for, put your water, ample storage space. It's very convenient to put your little TV remote there. You also got your headphones here, so the backseat passengers can watch whatever they want without annoying anybody else. Again, it's you travel in style with the QX80, and that's just, it's just a brutally honest luxury SUV. And some of the other features here, I'm hoping you can get a really good view of this. You have this nice big steering wheel. It kind of feels like you're turning a boat a little bit. It's, like I said, it's a very large vehicle. It's heated leather around the steering wheel as well. The trim bits. Nowhere did I really find any sort of area where Infiniti went cheap. All the plastics, the buttons here were of very high quality, and it was a wonderful driving experience. Now, I think some of the things, one of the questions I had, is it easy to park? Well, yes and no. Infiniti also offers something called its a round view monitor, which is a 180-degree system where you can see in the screen what's in front of you. It also has a backup camera so you can see what's going on behind. Now, if you're not good at parallel parking, you're going to probably have a little bit of a hard time with the QX80. Consider it a good practice here. As far as the infotainment and nav system goes, as I've said before in my other videos, that there's sometimes hit or miss Ford in the past has had a problem with their sync systems in that they rebooted a lot. The systems weren't very responsive. I did not experience any of that with the Infiniti here. I think it's very well executed. It didn't pose any problems for me. I do think that some of the buttons there on the center console were maybe perhaps a little too small, but it was definitely not a make or break deal. Obviously, you have all your climate control system there. It comes with standard Sirius XM satellite radio, and the overall sound quality was for the music was superior. I have not seen anything better on the market. You're really up there with all the Bentleys and the like. And speaking of the Bentleys, they have the new Bentayga, which that thing costs over $200,000, and compared to that, the Infiniti is a bargain. Now, the limited all-wheel drive version you see here, this comes to a total of just over $89,000. Yes, that's right, a $90,000 Infiniti. It starts off at just over $64,000, but you're only going to get the rear-wheel drive. I think you're going to want all-wheel drive for sure, especially when you have the ability to tow that much. Now, with the help of this 7-speed automatic here, it does have a manual mode for shifting. I thought that was very helpful. You can adjust the different settings here for, if you want to go into tow mode, snow. Again, all the bells and whistles in the QX80. And sometimes, and then this is, I've noticed this with other brands, little times when you open up the console here, the various little compartments, sometimes the hinges did not work very well. Overall, not a problem here. The reason why I mention that is that in a vehicle this expensive with all this wood trim, if something like that were to break, it's not going to be a cheap fix. Obviously, there's more than enough interior storage space for books and maps and anything like that. You have your standard USB. My phone fit into the little compartment there without any problems. You can also control your volume, climate control, cruise control right from your steering wheel, but I think that's pretty standard in most cars these days. You can even do that in the Kia Soul, which I reviewed previously. Now, back to that pricing. Is this something that I would buy? Again, it costs $90,000. And the answer is yes. If I had $90,000, I would not go for the $64,000 base model. I think there are better options out there, such as the Cadillac Escalade and even the Lincoln Navigator, especially that, or the Ford Expedition. But if I had the 90 grand, yes, I would shoot for the QX80 limited all-wheel drive. It just does everything well. I think even from every angle, it looks really good. It's special because mainly it's based on that Nissan Patrol, which you cannot get anywhere else in the United States. It's only sold in the Middle East, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and other overseas markets. But the functionality here, everything is very well laid out. All the buttons, you can tell that Infiniti paid special attention to this. They didn't want drivers or passengers to be inconvenienced in any sort of way, and I wasn't. Okay, now this is kind of interesting, and I really want to point this out to you. The power sunroof here, it's nice. It's a very standard power sunroof, but I think Infiniti could have gone a step further. For an example, again with that Kia Soul, it has a panoramic sunroof. Infiniti should have done that, especially at this price point. Obviously, your steering column here is not manually controlled; it's all electronic, and pretty much everything else is in the QX80: electronic this, electronic that. And that's not a bad thing. Again, for this price, it should be. Other little bits, I've noticed that all the wood, there was not a single blemish on it, and that's a very good thing. But notice how even the second row seats just automatically flip forward like that, which is kind of a cool thing. Obviously, People who spend 90 grand don't want to manually move those seats. There's that automatic power lift gate in the back. And looking at the rear interior cargo space, obviously you have plenty of it. The third row seats, they're 60/40 split folding units. They fold down electronically as well. And right here, you can just see how much room you have in this thing. With my camera equipment here, it only takes up a very small portion of what's available to you. Yeah, with those third seats folding back up, plenty of extra room to go. There it is. And everything closes up electronically, automatically, just like that. Other things that you're going to want to know. What's the fuel economy in something like this? Well, it's not good. You only get an average combined city and highway of 15 miles per gallon. Now, if you're going to spend $90,000 on the QX80, paying for gas is not something you're not going to all worry about. And that's okay. The QX80 is a very comfortable cruiser. Can it go off-road? Yes. Would I take it off-road? Probably not. I'd be a little nervous about that lack of ground clearance and damaging the running boards, but overall, this is an outstanding vehicle. It's very well executed. Infiniti has done a fantastic job of making sure it's differentiated the QX80 from the Nissan Armada. Even though it's based on a different platform, the QX80 gives buyers the incentive to pay a lot more, and you also get a lot more in return. Did I think it was the easiest thing to drive around the city? No, but that's okay. I think this is a very good suburban cruiser. But if you want to check out the full review, you can see it on carbuzz.com. And be sure to check out other videos on our new YouTube channel, and be sure to subscribe at the link below. Everybody, thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next time.